Like, they're very deep in the scene and they know a lot and have spent a while. Those people know about some of these people, but everyone else is just kind of like, who?
Most of it.
Whom's
I, I
the
kind of I kind of knew of Volcanic. I learned about him when Unity 2 was announced. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get in here. I did not know Doug used a Guardian on his Twin Tail.
Doug is actually one of the notable players in NA for utilizing the Guardian. I think they're the only, like, active. I'm probably mistaken. There's definitely players beyond my realm of knowledge that probably do utilize Guardian. But from the players I interact with, the people I see regularly, Doug's literally the only one that will even consider it. And he actually considers it one of his main arms and uses it pretty effectively, too.
You know, I guess whenever I've seen him or fought with him, I suppose character matchup. I've never seen Guardian on it before. And honestly, Guardian is a very good arm on Twin Tail, considering she has one of the fastest grabs in the game, and Guardian speeds it up just a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Guardians also, it kind of mixes weird with the actress aura, but it does still have some really good setups, some pressure and pokes that you can really just capitalize on play with. Unfortunately for Doug, doesn't seem like it worked out too well against Bunny Champ, as Bunny's just gonna get a pretty clean first round after a slightly bumpy start.
No, switching to the coolering, it's proving to be much more effective against Bunny Champ. Going around a Whammer and Mechanica, considering her big hitbox, it's just an easier target to hit.
Ooh, nice block there. Doug basically running on a perfect right now. Whammer's actually depends on how you utilize the Whammer. Whammer is arguably really good against curve arms like the Coolerain, but also you have to be able to get those reads, line your shots up well.
Oh, Doug was really good. Doug is getting these grabs beautifully, and just a couple more hits until Doug can take the round. But Bunny activates Rush, unable to land it, and now Doug has Rush.
And a moderate health lead. And he's
Oh,
going to be able to utilize that moving into this next
so
round.
many grabs. Oh, now grabbing a Twin Tail is he, something about Doug that I've noticed that he doesn't really tend to go up in the air, which a lot of Twin Tails tend to do. Uh, uh, Manipulating
Oh,
the actress around.
oh, Ice Chain.
I
Oh,
Bunny
he's
Champ
good.
goes for the rush, but it just misses or not miss. What is it called?
You, you mean
What's
an evade?
it? An evade? Is it considered an evade? Because he did get hit a little bit.
Kinda, but Bunny Champ
Eh,
lost the chain and then he was just able to safely block it. I'd probably
yeah,
call that more a whiff on Bunny's end.
a whiff. That's the word. That's what I wanted.
Oh, okay. So, jumping's an interesting thing. So, in a lot of, like, I understand why a lot of people jump. Jumping is a very strong option. It's very useful, and it allows you to work around a lot of your weaknesses. But something that a lot of players don't realize is that jumping is a resource. You have only so many options to go with. And while jumping is great, jumping too much, which honestly a lot of players do, is generally a pretty unsafe option. And especially with Twin Tail, where she has a good setup where she kind of floats in the air. But if your opponent is comfortable against a Twin Tail, they'll just read your setup, your float in the air, and you'll literally, like any other character, you don't have a deflect, you don't have a shield, so you're literally just left out in the open, and your opponent's probably going to punish you.
Especially if you just punch though. Like let's say you go up in air and punch or grab, and but if you just go up in air and then land without doing anything, there's a little safety net when you land.
Mm-hmm. The
That
big,
little
the big trick I'd
thing.
say, especially if your opponent like knows, yeah, Dr. Coil's one of the few exceptions. Well, she technically doesn't jump, so,
She
but
hovers.
One, like, a flat argument that I would say about the dangers of Actress Aura in the air. Say you're coming across a player with motion controls. You jump, you set yourself in the air, they go for a wide grab. Their attack is going to be lower than you, just by a default ruling because you're above them. So what are your options? You try to go left, their wide grab's going to catch you. You go right, wide grab catches you. You try to punch, their wide grab's too low, so you're not going to be able to connect. You try to dash back, wide grab connects. You dash forward, wide grab connects. Like, Whammer's also another good example of this, where you set it up, you bait the Whammer, and then you dash in a direction, and then if your opponent's just aware of which way you go, they can make the dash, and you can land and you can safely shield it, but like Whammer and Nade, Bunnychamp could easily just wall out Doug's aerial options if he's just being patient and aware of what Doug is doing.
Well, shit. Sorry.
That's fine.
Doug just takes like I'm listening and watching this and I'm absorbing so much information. That was a beautiful round from Doug. I'm on. Okay. Right now, I'm a little surprised that Bunnychamp is not switching out the Whammer. Yes, it is doing damage, but so far, Doug seems to be doing very solid.
So,
and handling, going around the Whammer and knocking down that nade, especially the charge nade.
Whammer is equally a good arm and a bad arm against double gloves. It depends on how the approach is from the wielder, how generally the matches kind of go in the tempo of things. It can work really well. Another big thing I note, Bunnychamp's also a die-hard Whammer user. If you think, like,
yes.
I'm somebody who uses Whammer a lot, Bunnychamp's, like, another step or two above that in terms of Whammer usage.
Like, even more than Griff.
Yeah. Well, Griff very rarely uses the Whammer these days. He loves the arm, but he's generally playing with other things.
That is true. Alright, these players are about even health, though Bunnychamp has the... Okay, never mind.
Bunnychamp's gonna give Doug rush. Doug, now set up, is looking for a potential killing blow. That's just gonna go straight into the shield. Knocks Bunnychamp into critical, but that's about it.
Gets a couple...
Oh!
That's a straight grab. That's it. 24 seconds on the clock. And Doug just takes game 2. So that's what? 1-1 now?
That is correct.
Whoa. Doug pretty much figured out how to handle Bunnychamp's situation. Now, Doug chose the stage, correct?
That is correct. So now Bunnychamp's gonna pick the stage.
Alright. Now what sort of stages do you think would be good for
Bunnychamp wants
Bunnychamp?
distance.
Distance?
Yeah, space. Anything that's, like, we've got Mazwa and Scrap Band, so I'd take a guess and say DNA Lab, potentially. Bunnychamp's gonna go to Sparring Ring. I can see what Bunny's going for. So...
Pressure?
Yeah, Bunnychamp wants that tight pressure, solid coverage, and just make sure they suffocate Doug out. The problem is, and this is from my own experience, you can get this to work, and it will work from time to time, but if you're looking for this kind of pressure, you have to have really solid base movement. And by that, I mean, well, you have to have really good boxing talent. Bunnychamp is very much a drifter, where they hold the dash, they hold that consistent movement, they're kind of going in a steady base movement.
But
If you want to play against double gloves up close and personal with a Whammer, you generally need to be able to kind of move around quickly, very sporadically. Otherwise, you're going to eventually run into positions where you just run out of movement, and then you're just kind of forced to sit there.
Alright. Now, Doug, oh, again, Doug is doing amazing with these grabs, just barely putting Bunnychamp below his, about just a little bit below his health. Bunnychamp activates Rush, unable to, just getting good chip damage, and Doug goes for another grab, putting him in critical danger.
You can kind of see what I'm talking about here, though. Like,
yeah.
At close range, Doug has so much more advantage with double gloves than that Whammer really allows.
What Bunnychamp might want to do, I noticed he had a slam in there. Either he should go double glove or pull out the slam.
The
That
Mandarin might be
it
good,
might
but
help him in the long run.
we're probably not going to see it. I think in this matchup, at least the way things are going, I'd probably say Bunny Champ would probably fare better if they learned how to handle this match in a more defensive state, playing at a longer range, so they have more time and easier opportunity to utilize that whammer to wall out Doug and really get these nade shots that they're looking for. So far, Bunny Champ making some really good plays, keeping a little bit more distance. I think getting close like that is a mistake, and it's going to end up costing them that rush, as Doug going to quickly be able to safely shield it out.
And getting another good grab in. Though Doug isn't critical, Bunny Champ can take him out. He activates Rush, but Bunny just blocks it.
This is a really tough place for Bunny Champ, as Doug kind of just, if he's utilizing that Actress Aura well, can kind of just bait Bunny Champ into having to wait things out, go for punishes of his own, especially on these wake-ups. Like, a lot of what Doug's really capitalizing on is just catching Bunny Champ as they wake up and recognizing that, like a lot of Mechanica players, one of the biggest weaknesses is they're so obsessive about getting that charge, starting that dash, that you could just throw a grab out, and most of them will get grabbed because they're not even thinking of that. They want to get that charge, they want to get ready.
Beautiful rush from Bunny Champ, getting 315, just disabling Doug's grab in general. Now is it a lot of Mechanica players tend to be in that mindset where they're just trying to.
A lot of them have very flat rules on their movement. They're either like it will be some flexibility, but generally they're either players who will utilize dash a lot, or they're players that are going to utilize the hover a lot. Pyre is a good example of a Mechanica where you will see him pretty much primarily in the air, just floating everywhere. Both of which have their own weaknesses. Bunny Champ is going to be able to carry things out, just starts getting a good push, some really good opportunities there. And is going to be able to carry things out. If Doug was a little more patient, I'm pretty sure that would have been a very safe round for Doug.
Now, Bunny Champ had to adjust his playstyle just ever so slightly to get that, to take that win. Doug managed to take the round back, had a very solid start, but unfortunately just could not keep it up throughout the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was very solid play from both of them. Figuring out to double roaster was a very smart move on Doug, especially against the Mechanica, because that fire element, knocking down your opponent, is the best thing you can do, because the weakest moment of a player is when they're waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other players are still fighting?
Some of the other players are still fighting right now. It looks like Piper was able to take Racha down 2-0. There seems to be an issue with the score reporting. Oh, I can just do that. And there. And yeah, Piper was able to take Racha down 2-0. Bunny Champ will be moving on to face off against Astro Ninja. And I think J-Ro and Ice Dash are still currently head-to-head in their match.
Now, I haven't really seen Ice Dash play before. I believe he's a Min-Min?
That is correct. Ice Dash is a Min-Min main. I was actually at Switchfest. I hanged out, talked with him a little bit. Definitely still very solid player. Yeah.
I didn't know he was a Switchfest.
Yeah, he was there. Might be
seeded it.
Might be Kid Cobra, but you don't know. Kid Cobra.
What?
Mechanica's. I'm just responding to Sriracha. Mechanica. Actually, I think Mechanica is advantaged matchup wise against Kid Cobra.
Yes, against Cobra, she is completely.
Yeah, most players generally agree on that.
Though some people kind of get a little surprised because movement wise, Cobra has the advantage. Though I believe, is it, correct me if I'm wrong, Mech has smaller girth.
Oh god, her girth size is much smaller.
But what's her girth? Cause I know
no, not much smaller, but I think it's like 4,
Three?
3 or something like that. It's somewhere in there.
And Cobra has like what? 5? 4?
Kid
4?
Cobra's max girth 5.
5. Okay. Uh, no, I don't exactly know how the specifics on why mech has an advantage in a matchup, but in my experience, at least with default Derby, because I play default mech. Against Cobra, for some reason, her movement is just easier against it, or just her speed is just right, and
Well,
plus the arms help quite a bit.
one of the big things about Kid Cobra that makes him such a difficult target is he's constantly jumping, making these huge arcing movements. Mechanica constantly being able to dash or hover. Her hover allows her to match up on Kid Cobra's height, and while she's hovering, she's locked onto his position. Like, as long as you're jumping, your cameras generally line up with your opponent. If you're continuing to dash, your camera's constantly lined up with your opponent too. So pretty much just the way most people play mech, she's always focused on her opponent. Which means that Kid Cobra doesn't get to utilize a lot of his move as well, because he's kind of a lot of Kid Cobras, rather than utilize the dash, they focus more on these big jumps and leaps, and Mechanica kind of just stares at them as they're doing that.
Now, in your opinion, what are good counters to Cobra in general, arm wise?
Whammer actually works surprisingly well, because
So
of a
does
lot of those
homing.
jumps. When they start dashing around, it's a little bit harder to catch, but good reads on that definitely can work. Light arms like Popper, Tri-Blast, Tri-Bolt are definitely always solid options. If they don't have a clapback, things like Carousel are definitely great tools too. Because you just kind of... Their dash has a set range, and they can get a little bit more if they air dash along the way. But for the most part, most Kid Cobra... Like, the air dash isn't that powerful, so you can kind of just see where they're moving, and then set things up, and they'll just land right in your attack. Dragons are also a great counter against Kid Cobra, yeah.
I also believe, personally, Revolver and Retorture are very solid due to the 3 pellets. They can, and if you, let's say you dash to the side, with those arms in particular, the spread just kind of spreads.
Yeah. It kind of walls out a lot of their general movement options too. It does similar things where they land into it. If they're trying to dash around, it's a lot of bullets, so there's a lot of cases where a Kid Cobra will just dash into one of the stray bullets.
Now, Lockjaw is a weird counter for Kid Cobra.
It can
'Cause
kind of work,
works
but it really,
somewhat.
in the end of the day, doesn't work because it's a little too slow and heavy. Takes a little bit too long to come back.
But it depends on the Cobra player. Like, let's say I've seen Lockjaw work pretty efficiently against Pine, but at the same time, I can't use Lockjaw against JM per se.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. It really depends on the player, Cobra is not exactly the easiest character to pick up. I believe he's one of the hardest to learn.
There's a few characters that... Yeah, Kid Cobra's a little difficult to learn. Actually, what would be the characters that probably have the... Radio has a lot of trouble fighting you with Lockjaw, even though he's a lot better. Yeah, like, if you get it right, I can see it working well, but those are huge investments, and Kid Cobra has a much easier time dodging those investments.
Hey, out of curiosity on difficulty of character, which character would you say is the hardest to learn?
Probably Helix.
Yeah, Helix is pretty solid.
He's got such a different mindset to him. I'd probably put... Sorry for keep running you over with my words.
No, it's okay.
I'd also put Ribbon Girl up there. Kid Cobra's definitely on that list.
I want to say Coil.
Coil...
It depends, because you could just... The issue of characters is that you could easily get into the habit of doing the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And with Coil, it's fairly easy to just go back and forth and just get that third arm and punch and that. Like she isn't exactly the easiest to pick up, but she isn't the hardest.
She,
Like
she
easiest would be Spring,
Twintel's like by far the
Ninjara,
easiest.
Twintel, Min Min. Min Min's a very solid beginner character. Oh, we're
Mm-hmm.
starting.
We can continue with the conversation.
Trying to think. B&B is a bit hard.
Yeah, the reason why
He's
I wouldn't
awkward.
put Dr. Coyle on the list of characters that are difficult to learn, like, she is difficult to learn, yes. But you're gonna immediately just start getting rewarded for literally just playing Dr. Coyle.
Mm-hmm.
She's easier to pick up because you'll just start getting better rewards for playing that character than if you played any other character. You overall have just safer options, and you'll get away with a lot more. Like, a good Dr. Coyle player could probably switch to another character, and they'll probably have a really hard time because a lot of the luxuries that Dr. Coyle tends to provide wouldn't be available to them anymore.
That's true. Uh, Jesus Christ, Piper. Piper is a very scary player with his Ninjara, using a fairly not as common as I would like. I think would be arms called Slapamander.
So, Piper plays kind of... He plays by the base ruling of what I'd say a Ninjara player should play. He's really good at pokes, he's good at finding windows to get nice punishes, but generally he's really focused on utilizing arms that quickly retract, so he's not making big investments, and then beyond that, he's really capitalizing on Ninjara's high-speed movement, the fact, and utilizing the shield well enough just to kind of make himself stay an incredibly difficult target to catch.
Now Piper used to be a Min Min player, very far back, and I believe okay personally, Ninjara and Min Min are very similar characters, movement wise and such, not counting the dragon arm. But he has utilized Ninjara to the point that I don't even think you can do with Min Min.
Yeah, so
He,
the
he's
way
just such a solid player.
I can see what you mean by their similar characters. Generally, Ninjara's playstyle is a little bit like an upgraded version of Min Min without her dragon arm. So if you're wanting to if you're fine with Min Min's situation where she lacks dragon arm and you want to develop more on that, Ninjara's probably going to be your best pick.
Oh no, for sure.
So that's probably where he was going with things when he decided to switch over to Ninjara, where he's like, I'm fine with this small girth size, but I want a little bit more to kind of work alongside that's just more consistent. So he just switched over to Ninjara, so he's just always kind of in an alright position for neutral, where Min Min sometimes has a rough place, where if she gets backed into a corner, she's desperately trying to find a place to get that dragon arm. He can just kind of play against that a little more efficiently.
And he does it very well. Now, we see Ice Dash with dragon with Scully and the dragon arm, which Scully first of all is a very good poking tool. It's a solid arm and it's quick. Though against the double medium arm, it just doesn't seem as efficient. There we go with Piper taking game 1.
So the reason why the Scully's probably not working out too well, a bit of it definitely is because Piper has 2 medium weight arms, but Scully is best when you are the evader. If you're the player dancing and weaving if you're the player able to dance and weave between your opponent's attacks, then Scully's going to be really great because you're not too worried about having to clash against their arms. You're more focused on just getting around those arms and then finding windows to attack. But in this case, Ice Dash isn't the one who's doing the dancing and weaving and evading. Ice Dash is the one that's kind of, in the end of the day, being the oppressor in this matchup. Ice Dash is the one who's trying to get Dragon Arm, trying to keep that tempo pressure up, and Piper's the one who's just focused on dodging all of Ice Dash's attacks and going in for pokes and punishes. So, the Scully's not working out as well for Ice Dash because Piper's pretty much doing counterplay to what the Scully would be just by playing Ninjara.
Yeah.
Ninjara's also really good at dodging things like the Scully. Just
A bigger arm might do just more work, just to cover more area against such a small character like Ninjara.
mm-hmm.
Though with bigger arms, it means slower. So it's a bit you give and take. We're seeing a Mechanica.
So I'm guessing that's going to be a loadout that's more designed to wall out an opponent here, because he was trying to kind of catch and punish Piper's movements, but Piper was just kind of, like we were just talking about, kind of weaving around all those attacks, and just found his way out in every case. Ice Dash probably looking here to try to utilize Mechanica's larger body stature, a couple of arms with a larger girth size, where he's going to have an easier time kind of chasing down Piper with these attacks and just wall him down. So far, that's not really working out.
It just okay.
So Piper's pretty solid against Mechanica. That's a heart attack. That's unfortunate.
Piper's set is also very good against mechs, just due to the fact that, again, firearms are really good against heavies.
Oh gods, yes.
What is he happening?
Ice Dash will just get back in shortly. So, just random issues.
Heartburn. I mean, he was using firearms.
It is true. But yeah, firearms are really good against mech because guaranteed knockdown. Another thing to note is firearms are generally some of the fastest arms in this game, which means that it's really easy for them just to kind of chase down those large lumbering bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier to hit, even though it's faster, which means you arguably have less time to aim it. Since you have a larger target, it's easier to connect, which just, it all kind of lines up to making fire elemental arms generally pretty strong against a heavy unit.
Yeah.
I'll note that I actually have a hard time every once in a while with Piper. So
I don't remember the last time I used Piper.
It was a very long time ago that I played him, but I'd probably still say he'd be pretty difficult.
He had a very strong learning curve. Like, it is all of a sudden, like, okay. In a good amount of cases, some players are just, they're there. And I hate to say it, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but Piper just kind of came out of nowhere. His skill rose. He rose, and he's one of the best players in North America as of right now.
I wouldn't say he came out of nowhere. It's just that the light never was really shone on him because there were so many other players to look at and see. And as things have died down, he's continued to chip away and refine his playstyle, his approach, and really master what he's trying to do. So now we're starting to see him really make results. Especially since things have thinned out a lot more, it's a lot easier to notice some of these smaller stars that before might not have been visible because of just how many other lights were being shone all over the place.
That is true. That is very much true. Now, Ice Dash is using a very interesting arm, the Parabola. Now, the Parabola is very good against Ninjara in general, just due to the slowness. And yeah, you could dash out of the way, or you could shield, but it just creeps up on you. It's a good arm for against Ninjara.
It's a good arm if you have Ninjara pressured, and Ice Dash did not have Ninjara pressured for the entirety of the last 20 or 30 seconds, so it didn't work out. He had a good start. He was getting some good pressure, some good plays, and got some light damage with it, but once Piper was just kind of in that center ground, he was just... he literally just walked away from so many of those parabolas, and he just gets Slap-a-Man punishes.
It did not help that Ice Dash kept on jumping, which allowed him to get caught. By that charged Slap-a-Man. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Ninjara has the fastest charge up, right?
Uh, nin- all characters generally charge up quick, about the same amount of time, but Ninjara's lasts the shortest time. Like, he barely retains any charge. I think Ribbon Girl might be the only character that is less than him, or it's about equal.
That's a win for Ice Dash. Utilizing the megawatt to his advantage. That I honestly did not expect megawatt to do so well against Ninjara. He's switching up sides, but same arms, no changes from either player. Now, Salamander is not exactly the easiest arm to land. It tends to miss a lot. The fact that Piper manages to hit most of the time is it's very impressive. It's a solid arm, just the hitbox is so small. Ice Dash activates Rush, getting only 175, not getting the full thing, but it's he keeps on knocking down Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Piper activates Rush, getting 355. They're about even health as of right now. Just a few more hits from either player can take it all. Now, if Piper wins this, he will be continuing on, and Ice Dash would continue on in losers.
That is correct. Ice Dash has that rush ready, looking for that confirm. Gonna go for it! Piper gonna dodge, gets a couple of chip hits.
Piper has the advantage health-wise and
Match-wise
yeah,
as
Piper.
well.
Yeah, that's one way of saying it. I mean, technically, he still has advantage health-wise.
And unfortunately, Bunny Champ and Astro just kind of had their match already.
Oh, did he tell them not to play?
We always stream both the semifinal matches. Except, I guess in this case. So, Astro moved on 2-0 against Bunny Champ, so, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but whatever. No worries. Ribbon and Min, excluded Dragon Arm, have the shortest charge. Okay, so Min also has a really short charge. It's just, you don't notice as much because she has that Dragon Arm.
That is true, because... Yeah, you don't really think about charges as a Min. You don't really think about charges much if you have Dragon up. Huh. Yeah, Mummy does have... It actually makes sense that Mummy has the longest. Considering you gotta make up for that slowness. Of such a big target and such a slow character. It makes sense for Mummy to have that.
Indeed.
Alright, so...
Alright, so...
We are waiting for
Astro to get here.
Huh?
So once Astro's in here, then we should be good. There he is.
Alright. Now, I know Astro dabbles in other characters besides Coil, like Misango. I believe I've seen him play Spring. I believe I've also seen him play... He also does play B&B. So it's come to the point where I don't even know what he's gonna play. Usually it's Coil, but he has sprung up Misango from time to time.
Yeah, he might play one of his other characters, though I think he's just wanted to focus on Dr. Coil for the last while. We'll definitely have to just see what he's kind of feeling like doing here. And it looks like we're going to be starting off with Buster Beach. Of course, this is a best of 5, which means that there's plenty of opportunity for these two players to kind of warm up, figure each other out.
And Buster Beach is possibly the best map to do it. It's a fairly, I want to say, neutral map. That's not exactly the term I want to use, but that's the only one that comes to mind.
Oh,
It's one of the basic maps. It has it's a basic map. It's fairly simple. There is elevation and there are corners, but it's just when you think of arm tournaments, you don't really think of any other stages because Buster Beach is one of the most popular stages to go to, at least in North America.
it's extremely popular in North America. I would strongly disagree about it being a base or a neutral stage. It is.
Oh no,
It has some
it's a
defensive opportunities, but it kind of goes in the spirit of what a lot of North American players like, which is high
aggro.
aggression. It's.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. I meant like it's just a common stage.
Oh yeah,
Pardon
popular would
me.
be a good term for it then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Though against Coil, I it's a bit of a weird stage against Coil. The elevation it does something. But for floating abilities, it's not exactly it's not as easy to fight her, at least in my personal experience.
Buster Beach is probably one of the slightly more balanced stages to play against Quill, because you can corner her here, unlike a lot of the other stages. It's still not easy to do, but you do have more of that option. Where in other stages like Spire and Marine Mausoleum, anything that doesn't have like really clear corners, has much more freedom to run rampant. So it definitely works out in that regard. If you knock a Coil into the Hot Pocket as well, you can kind of create a little bit of height balance, which means that you can play against her a little more evenly.
Astro going for the rush yet again, not getting the finishing blow, though that is 250 damage against Piper, and he is able to evade it, just getting chip damage, though Piper gets the knockdown.
Astro still holding on to that lead, just keeping a solid 1-2 pressure, utilizing the Fun Chuck to kind of cover a lot of his weaknesses, a lot of the openings that he might have while that Tri-Blast and Slap-O-Mander are trying to reach in. And then the Roaster is just a solid poking pressure tool. A nice catch for Piper. He's not going to follow up with that from the explosion. Not going to follow up the Mander there either. But he's going to try to close in the distance and get himself ready for a solid rush.
He is putting on a lot of pressure, though. Astro is very slippery with his coil. Getting a 1-2 punch. Piper barely having enough health for it. He whistled up. He went, yeah. English. Astro takes game 1. And this is a best of 5, if I'm not mistaken.
So one of the big things about Dr. Coil, though she's a lot harder to hit, when you get confirms with her, there's a lot more combo potential. Especially whenever Astro, you'll notice like he's higher up in the air. That means that he has a solid amount of time where he's falling down. Which means that if you're able to recognize that you land that Slap-O-Mander and you see Astro quickly get hit, if you throw out Rush at that time, you probably could have the Rush just charge in. And he could have probably dealt a decent amount of damage and got much closer to taking Astro down than he did at that point. So yeah, Piper just kind of piping in with his own input too, saying he's definitely not experienced enough in rush play right now. He's done a lot of practice in neutral interactions and kind of mix-ups in there, but he's definitely still trying to figure out how to play rush, how to kind of respond and catch a lot of like opportunities. Like, you know, the classic stuff like well, they're not necessarily classic, but stuff like hitting with the Tri-Blast while you have height advantage, that being a confirm. When your opponent has a long time falling. Even uncharged taps into rush can work sometimes, depending on if you get the right read. But like, he's still figuring out that kind of opportunities.
I'm surprised Piper wanted to come back to Buster.
It's probably one of his better stages to play against Coil. I think a couple of different arms might help out. The Tri-Blast is definitely a solid option, though Popper might work a little bit better. But beyond that, overall, he has solid arms for this matchup. He has solid. This is a solid stage for this match. A lot of this is just him needing to kind of figure out what he's trying to do to play against Astro. This is probably one of the better places for him to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna try to go for that confirm, but he is gonna get the shield break off of it.
You know, by the way, out of curiosity, is there any reason why Astro would ban Via and Scrap? I wanted to ask that a little bit ago, I'm sorry.
When did Astro ban Via and Scrap?
When it was time for the next 2 stages.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm guessing he just didn't feel like playing the counter pick stages.
Okay.
Arguably, Via Dolce can be a bad stage for Dr. Coil. Scrapyard is actually a really good stage for Dr. Coil. Unless unless he's not feeling it after some of my rounds against him in your tournament a couple of days ago.
Oh, you...
I'm pretty sure that's not the case, though, but...
I mean...
Hashtag humble brag.
It's really weird, because when I think of Via and Coil, I think of Dastardly on Via. And he loves that stage way too much for a Coil player.
Yeah, Dastardly's definitely a good example of how Coil can be played well. But from my experience, or at least my knowledge of a lot of Coil players, a lot of them don't handle that stage as well as Dastardly does. They don't... You can still do good in a stage that is would be arguably considered a bad stage for you if you have enough experience with said stage. And
yeah,
what's going on there is Dastardly spent so much time practicing and mastering Via Dolce that even if you ask me, and I would confidently say Via Dolce is a bad stage for Coil, he's very comfortable and confident in it. So he can just kind of go... He doesn't have to worry about banning that stage anymore. He can ban worse stages that might arguably be also bad stages, but now what normally would be considered a worse stage for him is kind of like a neutral alright stage. So he can work there and not be as stressed out and worried as some other players who have to ban Via Dolce as Coil because they just don't have the experience and the practice with it.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me 1 second.
It's actually an interesting thing about certain players compared to others is some have a general flat rule of, alright, this is the stage I don't want to go to just because I'm this character and I need to avoid the stage. But a lot of other players, I'd probably put myself in the list of players who would be on the other side, where it's like, I'm comfortable enough in every stage. I know how every stage works. I'm confident in every stage. I can make any stage I want work for me, given the time and opportunities. But
sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I feel that way too, but aren't there days where it's like, I feel like the stage is a bad idea. I feel like it's not, if you're not even thinking about matchup, it's just depending on the day. Do you ever get that feeling? It's like, this is not a stage I want to go to because not that I can't handle it, not that it would be, yeah, it just doesn't seem like it would be a good idea and it might put you in a disadvantage.
That's definitely a thing. That's a thing I don't think about much, but that is definitely a very valid and accurate thought. And then just finishing what I was saying was, then there's the other cases where certain people like Astro will pick stages to ban based on their character and their own experiences. And then there's others like, I would ban stages more specifically based on where I know my opponent would be best. Usually the two kind of go hand in hand, but there's certain cases where that's not necessarily the case. So,
it could just go whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, a nice attempt at an evade!
Astro's getting 175 damage in the end. Hyperx now has Rush, though Astro has the health lead. Slowly building up Rush. Creeping up. Gaining rush is basically the same for all characters except Misango when it comes to Yellow Mask, correct?
So all characters generally have a flat rule on how they build rush, but based on certain mechanics and abilities, some characters are going to build rush faster. Mechanica and Dr.
Like,
Coil are a good example of this, where a lot of other characters, you'll notice they dash and then they can punch while dashing, but that means that they can't kind of do another dash that allows them to build charge. But Mechanica and Dr. Coil, they can kind of dash and charge and then continue and punch during that motion and continue building charge, which allows them to kind of do two things at once.
another example of a character being able to do two things at once would be Twintel, being able to slow down arms while also gain rush. It's defense as well as.
Well, yeah, that is two things at once, but that's
But
also
not,
more on the base. That's not allowing you to build rush faster.
that is true. That is true.
Another case would be Dr. Coil getting her third arm, and that means that she gets to punch 3 times. So you can kind of see why, just from like those two light examples, why Astro builds rush so much faster than pretty much every other player. Because not only does Dr. Coil have 3 arms, which means she's punching 50% more often than anybody else, she's also continuously holding dash in a lot of cases, which means that it's just really easy for Astro just to kind of throw out a barrage of attacks and get a rush built up and get this really strong advantage. And he can kind of just be... He can be a little more aggressive and greedy with his rushes because not only is he safe, of course, because it's Dr. Coil, but also he just kind of has a lot more room to make things... Like, he makes a whiff, he'll just shield, and then 20 seconds later he's got another rush.
That was just very quickly commenting on a match. That was incredible how Astro managed to take back that round. Piper had the health lead for quite a long time until the end.
He was so close.
Despite him having rush, Astro just put on the pressure and the movement of Coil. It's amazing what he did with Coil right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of what you saw Astro do is, like, that is a lot of just Dr. Coil and what she does. She's impossible. She's really hard to hit. She builds rush quickly. So she gets to get away with a lot of really safe and just... She's a character that you can be a lot more greedy with because of a lot of those. But it also means that if you're not careful, you can kind of just outplay yourself. And Ninjara's probably a good pick to play against Dr. Quill because the way he moves, the way he kind of plays, it can allow him to do some really good setups and punishes. But it takes... I'd say Piper's biggest weakness is matchup experience.
There aren't as many Dr. Coils as there used to be as of now.
There's not as many anythings as there used to be.
You know what? That's a good point. Though, I recall, like, around the time I joined, every time I would just hop on ranked, there was just coil after coil. But also, a lot of double Fun Chuck or double Bird Chuck Kid Cobra.
Yeah.
That was not fun. I hated ranked for so long.
A lot of people don't like ranked, and that's why we don't see many people on ranked anymore.
No, I go on ranked often. I just don't match with anyone.
Oh, that too. But yeah, so what's kind of going on with the double Fun Chuck plays is it's safe and consistent on a player that doesn't know how to handle them. Like, when you realize that's double Fun Chuck is by and far a noob killer setup.
You got cut off for me. Well, what was the end part?
Double Fun Chuck kind of approach. That's kind of played off as more of a noob killer than anything else. Basically just going on the basis that you're it's asking you to know a certain thing, and if you don't know that specific thing, then your opponent's probably just going to be able to stomp you down. But as soon as you kind of figure out what that thing is and how to kind of play around it, in this case being perfect shields or utilizing heavy arms effectively, then all of a sudden that matchup becomes really easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Or my favorite thing to say, single fun chuck, hard counters, double fun chuck.
You know, you ain't wrong, but it also depends on the other arm.
Nope, just as a flat rule.
Okay.
I've had matches where I'll have an opponent who just kind of spams double fun chuck, and I didn't even use my other arm. I just used exclusively. I had fun chuck and I had something else, and I just went in with the fun chuck. I ignored my other arm entirely, and I was winning trades.
Really?
It's not gonna be the case like that most of the
All
time.
the time.
But that would be on the basis that your opponent is more cognizant and aware of what's kind of happening.
Yeah.
So, and generally those kind of players aren't gonna be hang on. Bunny Champ and J-Ro. Okay. Those players aren't going to be going double fun chuck because they'll probably be like, hey, this has a lot of weaknesses to it. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Like,
Okay.
it's a loadout that is very comfortable and easy to go into and work with. And that's why you see it a lot at lower levels, because it's easy just to kind of mash the two. You start by pressing one, and then you press the other, and then you just start mashing the two, and that allows you to get easy parries. You get the fun chuck parries, which quickly retracts the arms, and they come out again quickly. You just got that tempo where you're just constantly throwing arm after arm after arm after arm. Then you can just press rush, and chuck rush is very, covers a base pretty solid amount of space, does shield breaker damage, so it's generally just, pretty solid on double fun chuck. It rewards very basic, monotonous patterns and motions.
Yeah.
So it's easy just to kind of get into that habit, get into that pattern. But then once the opponent starts to realize, oh, hey, I have these options, these abilities that I can utilize to kind of play around double fun chuck, then all of a sudden it loses a lot of its luster, because they're like, oh, hey, I just need to shield. As soon as they hit me with a fun chuck, I just press the dash button. I'm closer to them now. Oh, they hit me again. I'll just press dash again. Oh, I'm even closer to them. Oh, I'll just press it 2 more times. Oh, they kind of are locked into that pattern, because if they stop going fun chuck, fun chuck, fun chuck, they sit there for 2 or 3 seconds waiting for their other fun chuck to come back, and they literally are doing nothing then. So you're like, okay, so I'm closing in the distance. Oh, they've stopped. I'm just going to go for a grab, or I'm going to go for a double punch now. Oh, they got hit. Oh, they're going to just start throwing grabs now. I'm just going to continue punching down those grabs, or dodge the grab and grab them. Oh, they got back into more multiple fun chucks. I'm just going to get closer, closer, closer. All right, I'm close enough, and they're still doing that pattern. I just go for a grab. It takes too long for the fun chuck to get straight up and chase after. Oh, look, I landed the grab.
Jesus.
Bob is a potato. Thank you for the follow, love.
Oh, give me 1 second. My kitten is attacking wires, and I do not want him attacking wires. I'll be right back.
Okay. She didn't glitch out of the commentary. She had to go take care of her loves. Her cuddle friends. Kitty, please.
Alright. Hello.
Hi.
I glitched out of commentary? Huh? Okay.
I didn't notice you. I thought you just left, but I guess you glitched. I don't know.
I don't know. Alright, so we're waiting on I need to look at Battlefy.
Era.
Yeah.
What are you doing on computer? Go outside. So beautiful.
I just see a distorted Tommy Wiseau in my head.
What are you doing on computer? Go outside. So beautiful. Ah!
Just
Alright, so we're just waiting on a couple of sets to finish up, which means that we have a little bit of, as you might have noticed, we have some open down time on the open down regard. We have availability on the stream. If anybody wants to do any friendlies, code is 711. Feel free to hop in. We could fight, sure.
okay.
We'll just go to Scrapyard.
Damn it. What's funny is that Scrap is a very good stage for Min. I just don't like it.
No, that's a lot of the case. Or that's what I was talking about before, where it's like, you can have a good or bad stage, but if you're just not comfortable there...
Ah, shit. Oh, sorry.
I'm so upsettled by the mean word.
Ah! That was a rougher shot. Yeah, her
Well,
charge does not last that long.
What charge?
Huh.
Oh, you mean your standard charge, yeah.
I never, like, noticed. Whoop.
But you kind of saw there, like, I leaned a little too hard into desperately trying to get the charge. You tried to go for it there, too.
No, you're not allowed me. You're not allowed.
Sad panda face emoji. No. Oh, damn it.
Oh! Oh!
Not today!
What's that impression that you do so well?
The
Skeletor.
no! You mean the wall, like what people call the Waluigi?
I thought it was Skeletor.
Yeah, oh yeah, the Skeletor! Nyah! Take that, Era! Our Skeletor will put you down! I haven't used that I haven't done that one in a while.
Oh, but that's what when I think of like voices that you do, I just think of Skeletor because you like.
I used to do that so much.
I remember watching like Scrapstar, you commentating of MLM or something, and you just do yeah. I'm like, I love this.
I think I just kind of broke out of doing it for I don't know what reason. I just stopped. No.
I don't know why I thought that would work. JM, I love you. Yeah, yeah.
Take that!
Melee! What was that?
So basically,
I thought it was okay.
So basically, what happened there is, after the boomerang finished, you only had the glove going at me, which meant that I jumped it, which meant it took a moment or two for it to fix itself in camera. And also, I just straight up outboxed it, so I could just throw out the rest of my rush.
I tried. Oh, I hurt my throat screaming. That's not fun.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Alright, so... Raja and Piper,
now.
you two can hop into a match quickly if you want.
Alright,
Or
go.
if either of you want to request a match with me or Era, you can do that too. So Piper wants to fight. Who does Piper want to fight? Does he want to fight
Piper.
Racha?
Who you want?
You can... If Racha wants to fight, you can just both step in. Unless one of you two want to request a match. Also, hi JM! Thanks for dropping by. It's always nice to see John Mark here.
What's up, John Mark? You know, I've recently like really taken a love for Homie.
Oh, so you're becoming Gillyboat.
I don't
Racha, get in the
like him
ring,
Lola.
fight! Stop being
Okay,
awkward.
Piper.
Also, Piper is Astro now.
I just read that, and we're on the wrong, and we're on a stage that I heavily don't like, but okay.
And you're also Piper.
Technically, I just liked red. I don't know why I said technically. I just like red. Okay.
Technicality key.
Oh, I just realized he has a. Okay.
He has fun
I
shocking.
like. The painful.
You're fine.
Arm.
You're fine, Racha. But yeah, when I say you're all welcome to fight or just ask who you want to play against. Just let us know. Sitting there silently.
Yeah, I'll just jump in if you don't. If no one moves, I'll just jump in.
Yeah.
So you're at risk, huh? Ah! I accidentally pressed B.
I'm gonna use the washroom while we wait for this.
Okay. Ow. Guys, I could be bad too. It's okay. I'm always bad. Can I fight Sane? Who is that? Oh, you mean Sans? Just. Ba 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 da ba ba. No. What the heck is UT? Oh wait, I read Sane. Okay, hold on. Let me do something dumb. Ba 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 da ba 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 ba. I don't know what I was going for with that. This is not a good idea. Or maybe it is. Haha. I could be good. Not now! But I can be good, maybe. Not really. This is not a good idea. I didn't know he was going... I was ready for the ditto. I was ready for the ditto widow. The little ittle ditto pillow. It's a pillow. It's a pet. It's a pillow pet. Heh. Damn, I miss you. Ah! I have family sleeping. Can you don't, Piper? Mr. Pied Piper. Come at me, bro. Come at me. Please don't. Actually, I'm good. I'm good. You can stop now. You can stop now. You can stop now. No! Bad Piper!
Era, wait, Era, you did it! You were streaming arms!
No! Piper. Piper! No! No! I wanna win!
Oh!
Let me win!
Oh!
Let me win! Can someone do me a favor and clip that? Because I don't know what I said that hurt my throat so bad. Huh. Oh yeah, good game, Piper. Screw you.
Racha Piper,
that
I
hurt
need
my
you.
throat.
Racha Piper, I need you two to hop out.
Can someone clip that for me? I need to know what I don't. What did I say?
Racha, sweetie, I need you to hop out. We're back onto the tournament matches now. Yeah, that's because you waited too long, Racha. We're in the middle of a tournament. Arms, but no one can understand it. Thank you, JM.
Wait, is that what? Oh, that's a lovely name. That is a beautiful name. Oh,
Don't worry, Racha. Racha, technically, you can do friendlies with Piper off stream. Arms, but every punch it cuts to the American Dad intro. That sounds like a meme.
Good morning, USA.
Good night, USA. It's pretty late out.
That is true. It is like 10:30. Good morning, Canada.
I get feelings that Day Wonderful will be. No, what if it was like... What if it was American Dad, but it was like horrible English? Good morning, USA. Good morning, USA. Anyways, we've got Doug facing off against Bunny Champ here for the lower semifinals. Yeah, this is a rematch we've got going here.
Okay, this is actually a rematch I want to see.
And it's even the same stage from their last match.
I mean, I wonder what Doug was thinking here, considering the double roaster did a. Who chose this stage?
Bunny Champ got to pick the final stage.
I wonder why Doug didn't ban it, considering he lost on this one.
I mean, he might have lost on it before, but he might be more concerned about other stages. Also, he was holding up pretty well, and he is going to take the round here.
Good point. I am
Racha, that's not a Sans reference. If you finish with "please understand," it turns into a Nintendo reference. But this round's starting off a lot more in Bunny Champ's favor, just getting some good pressure. The timing to get a perfect shield off of those nades is always just really awkward and difficult to do.
Oh, he gets to grab. Doug is now very close to critical. He is at critical. Oh dear. Bunny Champ most likely would not. Would be the ideal for Bunny Champ to not use that rush, considering the health lead he has. Though
he's definitely gonna hold on to it, though. Yeah. And now, I wouldn't say it has rush advantage, as Doug's gonna have it within the first couple interactions.
Well, that's a grab. Again, Doug has amazing grabs, and I don't know how he does it so fluently. Good rush counter, 370 damage, putting Rush at half health. No longer half health.
And you can kind of... that was a quick example. You remember what I was talking about, how Whammer's really good at just kind of canceling out Twin Tail's aerial movement. Like, it is a strong vertical counter. Like, Doug went twice where he leapt into the air, one in a rush exchange, the other to just kind of go for a punish, and both of which just got hard countered by that Whammer and allowed Bunny Champ to get some really nice punish damage in. That's going to be a shield break.
Oh, Bunny Champ is... something very notable of Bunny Champ is that his adaptation is fluid. He can lose around, but the way he adapts to the player, to the character, to the arms, it just works.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very strong attribute to Bunny Champ in particular, and something that not a lot of players have. And even if they do adapt, it tends to usually be too late in some cases.
And by the way, don't forget, if you guys are wanting to do friendlies, it doesn't have to be on stream. You could get a group going right here, right now. Just ask Piper, just ask Astro, just ask Racha, and be like, hey, do you want to create a quick friendlies group while we watch the rest of the Scrapstar? Get a friendlies group going, play more arms! You're right here!
Punch each other.
Friendly.
In the face. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm just a clown.
Honk honk.
Just like this. Hunk. Buzz buzz. Okay, we're on Via. I don't think we've seen Via today.
No, it's generally been avoided in a lot of cases, but it looks like Doug is going to try to take a swing here, try to utilize a stage to his advantage. This is one of those stages where Mechanica doesn't have as many movement options. Twintail definitely shines a little bit better here because she's not constantly having to move back and forth. She's kind of leaning into that actress aura a little bit more. So you can kind of just corner your opponent down, and there's just a lot less room for them to work with. A nice block there.
Oh, that scared me, dog. Something great about Twintail is that with her, she has very good aura pressure. Depending on the Twintail, of course. If they could just corner any character, put on that aura, especially if that rush, the pressure is terrifying. And Bunny Champ recovers very well from the being stuck in the corner for a very long time. He activates rush. Doug is unable to survive that round.
So a lot of what Bunny Champ is doing here is he's just kind of... Now that he's starting to recognize that Doug is a little anxious about what's going on, he's a little more tense. He's not diving in as quickly, he's not going in for those quick grabs. Bunny Champ's kind of just starting to lean really hard into... Like, he's abusing his shield at this point. And Doug's not... The times Doug's going for the shields aren't necessarily the right calls up to this point. He's just kind of been whiffing a lot of them. And, of course, commentators, of course. But, yeah, like, you're seeing Bunny Champ even there. Like, he's just going for a shield as the first option over and over and over. Or just, again, another dash where that could have been another grab for Doug. But Doug was like, I can't be going for another grab here. That would be ridiculous.
You gotta mix it up. If you do the same thing over and over again, as someone who was very good at grab spamming,
well, I mean,
it's scary. You gotta learn your risks.
It's important to mix things up, but also if you notice your opponent has a huge glaring weakness, you're more than welcome to start abusing it. Like if you notice that Bunny Champ is just like constantly going for these shields, just grab Bunny Champ. Just grab him, and that shield's going to keep falling, and eventually Bunny Champ's going to have to start changing things up himself, which means that a lot of more of the setups and plays that Doug is trying to work with will be more effective again. Like, Bunny Champ's making things work, but a lot of it is also just like caution and paranoia right now, where he's just trying to wait things out. He's trying to find these windows. He's doing what I was talking about before, where he's dashing, doesn't go for anything too solid, and Doug just gets like 480 damage. 640 damage off of grabs.
and the charge roaster 140 damage. And Bunny Champ most likely will pop rush soon just to or not.
He doesn't get the chance to. Bunny Champ started to try to turn things around, started to try to play pressure himself, but for a lot of the similar reasons why I was talking about it being a bad idea for Doug to jump, also kind of bad reasons for Bunny Champ to jump, especially in Via Dulce, where you don't have the space to utilize that aerial movement. So he jumps in the air, and Doug's like, oh, I literally just have to throw Roaster at you and you get hit.
No, this is a best of 5. No.
Best of 3.
Oh, God!
So this is the last one for these two. Whoever's able to take this will be moving on to the lower finals to face off against Pied Piper.
no matter whoever goes through, it's just gonna be a amazing match. These are very strong players, very strong. We're back here. That's a kablammer.
Yep. Bunny
And
Champ also plays that a bit.
that makes sense. They're very similar. Though honestly, kablammer works very well. We're saying all max brass arms. Okay. Kablammer is very good against Twin Tail. Explosive arms in general are good against Twin Tail just for catching her. The splash damage is just, it does enough damage over time.
So basically what the switching over to the Kablammer does is it's going to change up a couple of things. Now a near miss off of the Whammer is going to be a connection with the Kablammer. The other thing that it's going to change is anytime Bunny Champ makes a mistake, it is so much more easier for Doug to punish it. The Kablammer is extensively slower, and you're noticing this very clearly with just like these very clear punishes, these incredibly safe pokes that Doug has been getting constantly. Bunny Champ can't get hit again.
And then that would be game over for round one. Bunny Champ. Oh, Doug using his rush.
Could be a shield breaker. He's gonna hesitate for a moment though, which is gonna keep Bunny Champ in.
Oh, that's not enough. Oh, that might break shield. That did break shield and break his heart.
Doug's heart is broken because if he just kept going in with that roaster pressure, tried continuing gunning down on that shield, I'm pretty sure Doug would have had that.
Oh, this is painful.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting because it's constant. It looks like one player has really good control, then all of a sudden just the other side quickly swings things around. Again, Bunny Champ is leaning really hard into that shield, and Doug's just not comfortable trying to go in for any punishes off of that. Bunny Champ now ready with another rush. He's constantly been putting himself in positions where he can kind of just shield break. And it's been causing Doug so much trouble, as he's constantly just poking in through that shield time and time again, and Doug's not really coming out on top with much, especially since he's falling into a lot of these uncharged hits, and Bunny Champ's just gonna kind of safely be able to run off with the armor on them.
One more hit is just enough, and that is it. Bunny Champ moves on to fight Pied Piper. Those were amazing games. Doug almost had it, and he almost went through.
He would have had it. I think he just didn't have the confidence to make all the calls that he really needed to make, and he started to hesitate a lot around the end. Bunny Champ just continued to play a very standard Mechanica, just making sure that he's putting a lot of explosive pressure on, just continuing to eat through that shield, and it just made it harder and harder for Doug to really do anything, because he just was eating so much of his shield health, and eventually it's gonna break, and Bunny Champ got a lot of shield breaker rushes to lead into Doug's KOs in the two matches that we had. Up next, we do have Piper going to be heading into face-off against Bunny Champ now for the lower finals match.
Now, I have not checked the Scrapstar bracket in a while, but I know Bunny Champ and Piper play a lot of Scrapstar. Is this a common matchup that happens?
This isn't a matchup that I see too often. No.
Okay, I kind of expect it to be something common, but it happens.
It might happen a lot more than I think, but just in not streamed sections. So these two probably have played each other a decent amount. Just very few of them being on stream.
Okay, I personally am very excited to see this because they're very solid players, who I believe are about the same skill level. So this is going to be a very close matchup, perhaps.
By the way, thank you for the follow, Tobirama Shama. Thank you for the follow, Tobirama Shadow. Much love. We're fine. We didn't make a mistake. We're not slightly embarrassed as Aaron giggles at us. Hoi Treehouse. I'm glad you love this game. We love this game too.
Hello, Tree.
I love Tree.
I said hello, Tree.
But I heard,
yes, I love Tree.
I heard I love Tree.
I love Tree. Tree is nice. Nature is nice. It gives me breathing things called oxygen.
What are you doing on computer? Go outside. It's beautiful. Ah! We're professional. Gilly Boat doesn't like trees. That is very unfortunate.
Make him like Tree. How dare he not like Tree?
Alright, heading into lower finals match. Bunny Champ gonna be sticking with the Kablammer, it looks like, alongside the Whammer. Definitely, like, Bunny Champ is a die-hard fan of those things. I cannot blame the kid. They are very nice arms. They do cool things.
It's fun.
Oh,
They're
yes.
fun arms. Though, I don't recall the last time I seen Bunny Champ not have a whammer on, or a hammer, or a hammer.
That's how much Bunny Champ loves those arms. You will see, that's much like how Gilly Boat's pretty much always seen with the homie in some manner. You generally are going to see Bunny Champ with the nade in tow.
Though I have seen him over Siki once and he hated it. That was...
Some clean pressure.
I don't even know what happened. I did not even know what happened.
Basically, Bunny Champ just kind of chased Piper down. Piper couldn't really keep up with it. The Whammer covered a lot of his jumps, as is what the Whammer does. And Piper ended up losing the round after taking a pretty heavy hit from a rush. A lot of what's going on, too, just looking at that brief moment, Piper kind of is also going for a lot of uncharged hits, which is good for chip damage, but also not good when your opponent has armor.
Yeah, he does have firearms, which of course does give him advantage. Acquiring the knockdown, putting on much more pressure, and if he can, and with Ninjara you can get charged fairly quickly, whether through shield, which is safe, or fairly safe unless you go for a grab, or just dashing around, which is what you do with Ninjara. Oh.
Whammer saves the day again.
Wham.
Bam.
Ham.
Lamb.
Lamb.
Sam? I already said lamb.
Oh. Kablam!
Fam.
Damn.
Language.
I'm talking about the beaver dam. Jeez, why is your mind so nasty?
Oh, you got me, madame.
How dare you, Malik?
Ma'am. Cam. Anyways. But yeah, Bunny Champ was basically just walling out Piper, and he was really struggling to try to find those opportunities to get charge. Again, this was another case where I think Piper just wasn't looking for the right plays, making the right calls, and Bunny Champ just able to keep his standard game plan, keep up his tempo, and was just able just to kind of overwhelm Pied Piper.
How do you think Piper is going to be able to possibly counter Bunny Champ?
A lot of it is probably just going to be approach. He just needs to warm up on what he needs to do to play against Bunny Champ and start trying to make answers that help him play to Bunny Champ's weaknesses. I am just going to quickly say, too, for anybody who is watching right now, if you are interested in playing this game or you're interested in doing things online but currently lack Nintendo Switch Online, I'd be more than willing to add you into my family list. I just recently picked up one for myself, and right now I've got 6 extra slots currently available for anybody who might want some online. The only thing I ask is you just subscribe to this channel for a quick month.
Do that. You should do that.
Heading back into this match, though, it looks like both players are about even. Piper has switched over to the Popper, another solid elemented arm that can work really well against Mechanica. Another advantage that that thing has is not only does it have its confirms, but it also means that Piper can kind of just push Bunny Champ away, keep it that space that he might want, that he might need.
And avoid the pressure that seems to be a very an issue for Piper.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
Oh!
That
he
is...
goes right under that whammer and then pop.
Yeah, the whammer just started trying to go for the chase. I think the Mander just boxed with one hit from the glove, and then the Popper was just able to slip in through. I barely even noticed what was going on.
Hell. That's what happened. Astro's in here.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in winners right now.
Yeah, Astro is in grand finals.
Yeah, so after this losers, this is losers finals right now. So whoever wins here has to fight Astro. And yeah.
Piper looking to just get this confirmed, and he's gonna follow things up, bringing the score to 1-1.
And now we move on.
We don't move on. We're still in this one. Both
That's
players
what I
only
meant.
have 1 point.
I meant move on to the next match, not...
Okay, well, the Scrapstar's over. Thanks all for watching. Ciao.
Bye!
Piper very excited, very stoked that he was able to land the confirm off of that
wait,
Popper.
I just noticed you put the game over thing! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, you're amazing!
What do you mean? I was just pressing a button.
I know, but you commit to a joke.
I didn't commit to the joke. I immediately turned back after like 2 seconds. That's not committing.
I know, but okay, because there's obviously stream delay, so I glance up the stream, then I see good game over. I'm like, wait. I'm like, oh my gosh. To me, it's committing because you go through.
I pressed 2 additional buttons to make things happen.
Yes. It's committing, Lily. Oh, I need that picture again. If whoever has that picture of Coldster eating that burger, please give it to me.
If you ask Coldster, he'd probably just have it for you. Like, he uses it as a profile picture. He uses it as a profile picture. He owns the rights to that image.
Oh, Dave, can you tell me how amazing that it was being next to that legend eating that burger?
And it looks like we're gonna be going to sparring ring for our next match.
Okay, for a moment I thought like we were back to Doug, because whenever I think of sparring ring, I think of Doug versus Bunny.
That's just because we saw it a lot.
Punch. Yeah.
A bunch. Alright, and we're gonna dive straight in. Piper had some pretty good success at Via Dolce. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to make some magic work out here, where there's a lot more space for Bunny Champ to dash around and evade a lot of Piper's attacks. So far, Piper holding on to a very light lead, but it's not going to be that much and can quickly turn into Bunny Champ's favor with just a quick nade hit or punish. Tries to go for the grab, but that's just going to leave him nice and open. 220 damage in for Bunny Champ, allowing him to start building a nice lead for himself. Piper tries to go for the grab, and that's going to connect.
Piper almost disabling his arm, going for the rush after the whammer misses, juggling a little bit, getting 170 damage, throwing in, putting a little bit of pressure on, unable to avoid that nade, straight to the face. dodging that nade, and he's doing very good at evading, using the Ninja shield to the best of ability.
He is
Something that
using it very well, but there's a lot of what he's also doing is he's leaning way too hard into going for these immediate punishes when he needs to be consciously trying to dodge out of the way of these attacks, confirming he has the safety, then going for the punish. Where right now he goes for the dodge, he's like, alright, I can punish now, even though it's not technically his turn yet, and Bunny Champ still has plenty of opportunity to adjust his aim, adjust his focus, and make sure things like that whammer connect.
Bunny Camp switching to double. He dropped whammer. It's a freaking miracle.
I wouldn't say it's a miracle. It doesn't seem to be working out too well for him right now. As Piper did have a light lead there. Bunny Champ going to be able to bring it back though.
It's a sight to see. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I don't know why you're sorry.
I don't know, but I'm making myself laugh. Alright. Oh,
Piper just looking for one final hit to take the round, and it's gonna be a hot slap.
Who wants some hot cakes?
No, not hot cakes, hot slaps.
Hot slaps, hot slaps. Can we make pancakes in the shape of Slapamanders?
I mean, you could. That would be really interesting.
Then it'd just be hot. Then it'd actually be hot slaps, right?
I think so.
Maybe. I don't know. Or just warm up a cake that looks like a Slapamander.
Yes.
I don't know.
That would be
no,
very
good. Have you not seen...
Back into the match.
Sorry.
You're fine. Oh, Piper gonna be able to find a nice grab. Just kind of baiting out. Bunny Champ tries to go for a grab of his own. But Ninja's just not an easy character to catch with grab attempts, especially if he's trying to bait you out into throwing a grab of your own.
Both players activate Rush, and it goes to Piper getting 330 damage, putting him in the health lead. Piper is dashing quite a lot, which is useful for Bunny Champ due to him being able to catch him.
It is important for Piper so he can get that those charged arms, but yeah, right now, Bunny Champ is just kind of slipping in between a lot of these attacks. He's just continuing to get this chase down. He's going to go for the rush any moment now, and he's going to block that grab.
And that goes to Bunny Champ. Now it is currently 2-1, Bunny Champ's favor. Now, correct if I'm wrong, I believe Bunny Champ has not lost a set in, not a set, a game in Spartan Ring on stream.
No, yes.
Yes? Okay, so I thought he only lost some, like, rounds.
Oh, you mean, like, sets and, like, specific sets. Yeah, I think right now Bunny Champ is currently doing pretty solid job in Sparring Ring. A lot of it because... Because it's just such a close range space and area, and Bunny Champ is just going ham on aggression. So he's just kind of chasing people down. He's trying to wall everybody out, make sure that there's as little room as possible for these people to breathe. And Sparring Ring is really good at that. It does an incredible job of, just because of how small it is. You can kind of just... he can just keep chasing. He can roll right up to his opponent. And if they're not making the right calls and plays, Bunny Champ will just continue punishing and pressuring them out. It looks like Piper might be wanting to try to figure out what he wants to do here, because he's going to take a straight back. If you're looking for Illusion, Astro's in Grand Finals right now. Alright, and we are going to be heading in. It looks like Piper's actually switched over to the Retorture here. Not sure if we're going to be seeing it right away. He is going to try it out. That is going to struggle a little bit against that nade. But that's going to be a good opportunity for lots of chip damage and maybe some good knockdowns.
Honestly, I see why he would take out Retorture. Though, judging by his considering his fast playstyle, I'm surprised he would go for a slower arm than usual.
I think he's just looking for coverage. He's trying to find a nice widespread option to kind of fight back against Bunny Champ's approach, his playstyle. I honestly think the Popper probably would continue to be a better choice. Because
it's fast and a big
the
arm.
big problem here is Piper's approach. The way Piper is playing this matchup is just playing to a lot of Bunny Champ's strengths, as we see there.
I'm surprised he even went back to sparring ring.
I think a lot of it is just wanting to try to lean in a little bit more, figure out what's actually kind of going on here. At this point, he's kind of just figured he wants to solve this puzzle. He wants to spend a little more time attention to this. He's fine losing this match, potentially, to Bunny Champ, but just wants to go here to so he can kind of interact with this a little bit more and figure out what's kind of going on.
That is something very common with Piper, is that even if he does lose a match, he usually does tend to go back to the original stage. Like against when he fought Astro, he ended up going back to Buster Beach despite... I believe he won the second match in Buster. Memory is failing.
Yeah, a lot of what's going on here, a lot of when Piper is struggling, it's because Bunny Champ's kind of playing in a way that just doesn't work out for Piper, and he's not adjusting his play enough. He's not respecting certain options that Bunny Champ has, and it's resulting in him getting punished a lot. When he is making the right calls and plays, though, it's really working out for him. And as we can see here, he's just looking for one or two more hits. Just needs to keep his calm, keep patient, stay aware of what's going on. That actually could have been it. Bunny Champ just went for the rush there. But instead, he's going to lose it out as he takes a chip hit and loses that final bit of health.
Now, he has to be very careful right here. If Bunny Champ takes his round, then Piper would be out of the game.
But if Piper can demonstrate what he knows and he needs to do to respond, can definitely keep himself going and potentially move on to fight against Astro Ninja, get his rematch.
We all know Piper can put up a very strong fight against Astro, so either way, very solid players. It's gonna be an interesting fight, a grand, no matter what.
Out of these two players, I'd be more confident in Piper being able to take Astro down or stand more of a chance against him, because while he does have a lot more weaknesses, he's also more open to trying to adjust and play around things. Ninjara also generally just holds up a bit better against Dr. Coil.
Oh, I agree completely. Though, Bunny Champ has a coil himself, though I doubt you would want to go for the coils at all.
Here comes the rush. Both players looking for that moment. And the whammer is going to seal it in one final time. Piper, again, leaping into that heavy anti-air counter. And Bunny Champ going to be walking away with a 3-1. And we'll be moving on to face off against Illusion's Astro Ninja. Also note for everybody asking for Illusion representation, this tournament's being run by me.
An Illusion member.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Hi, this is Illusion Relief. She's amazing.
Rock Dab Barbarian. Thank you for the follow.
And, Piper, I know you listened to the stream. You did absolutely amazing.
Jerry, thank you also for the follow. Much love.
Alright. Now we wait for Astro. And then we continue.
Yeah. We just waiting for Astro to hop in, get the stage strikes and everything going on. Piper, when the VOD for this, or you could just go back and watch the stream as after it ends, do go back and listen to some of the conversation, make note of things, because You definitely have a really solid Ninjara. You just kind of played into a lot of things that you probably shouldn't have played into. That you definitely could have turned things around. Bunny Champ did have a very solid pressure, though. Was able to take things and ended up winning. But yeah, looks like we've got... Yeah, they're just starting the stage striking right now. So yeah, we're going to be moving on to Bunny Champ and Astro Ninja. Bunny Champ does have a Dr. Coil, though it plays kind of similarly to their Mechanica, so we'd probably be expecting some strong aggression. I'm not sure if we're going to see that Whammer come in. Whammer really, really struggles against Dr. Coil. As a player who is exceptionally solid with Whammer. One of your problems, Play Don't Think? I strongly disagree with that one. There is thinking is important in your matchups, but as somebody who plays very much into the... I'm somebody... Like, when you're thinking of somebody who plays instinctively rather than consciously, I'm one of those players. I put a lot of time, I put a lot of thought into... Well, I don't. I put a lot of thought previously, before the match starts, into a couple of things. But overall, like, during the heat of the match, I'm kind of just in there. Heading into our Grand Finals match, Astro's starting off with a very strong note. Just kind of supporting my point about Whammer's really bad against Dr. Coil. Unless you're getting the right lineups, some really good reads and aims. Otherwise, a lot of cases, it's just going to miss and it's going to leave you open.
Astro is just...
Astro's being Astro.
Yeah, Astro's just being Astro. I don't know what else to say.
Utilizing a lot of the aggression that Bunny Champ's doing, but alongside that, he's also more defensive, a lot more evasive, and utilizing just generally a lot more of Coil's assets and strengths, where Bunny Champ's kind of leaning into a little bit more of a bait, again, a much more by-the-book Dr. Coil. Bunny Champ's a player, beyond utilizing Whammer, they kind of work with the basic rules of the character, and they do a very solid job with that, but they follow those rules pretty hard. So if you know how to counter those weaknesses that the by-the-book ruling of said characters have, you're gonna generally handle these matchups pretty well, which is what we're kind of seeing with Astro, who just knows a lot of Coil's weaknesses, and he's just kind of capitalizing on them as Bunny Champ's going for a lot of these plays.
And Bunny Champ goes for the 260 damage rush. A very smart move on Bunny Champ to switch it up to double roaster. A good double glove in general is a very solid counter to Coil. Double glove in general is just good. But he has the weight advantage over Astro, though Astro is doing just fine. And there goes Astro taking game one.
Astro had a really smart moment right there where he's just like, you're charging up triple punch. If you throw that, you lose. Bunny Champ threw out the triple punch, and because the rush just has weight advantage, Astro had no issue literally punching through that, and ended up, while it looked a lot closer, it was probably still very much more in Astro's control than it might have looked.
Now, I wonder if Bunny Champ is going to mix it up. He might go back to Mechanica, but I also believe he has a Spring? He has other characters besides Mech and Coil. I know that. Just those are the most common. I did not expect that.
So what Bunny Champ is doing right here is when he feels like he's lost good, and he's confident that X character no longer works, he immediately dumps that character. And he's more focused on trying... Like, when I say he plays by the book, he plays by the book for a lot of characters. So he has a lot of diversity, and that's kind of how he kind of stands out against a lot of other players, beyond, of course, living and loving the Whammer.
I'm surprised to not see a Whammer here.
He works with a lot of characters, and he tries to play with them all. just so he can find good counters to his opponent. So far, though, this isn't working out. It's still fairly close, but it's not working out too well for them right now. Astro gonna land a nice rush, gets a 50% health lead right now. And Bunny Champ just about ready with a rush of their own. I'm not even confident Bunny Champ's gonna be able to make a connect.
He doesn't seem, just now, he doesn't seem to be using Ribbon Girl's ability as much as you'd expect a common Ribbon Girl to use. I mean, heck, even Luna, even like Luna as a Ribbon, for example, he's a very neutral Luna, Ribbon, but there's just not as much jumping as you'd expect. This is not going to cause a shield break, but Bunny is barely in the... He has just a sliver of health.
Oh, drops the rush attempt, and that's going to leave a nice opening for Astro to go in. Yay, solid punish. Yeah, Bunny Champ's really not jumping. Like, this is a very grounded Ribbon Girl, and while Ribbon kind of has a couple of things working for her on ground, this is one of those cases where I'm pretty sure Bunny Champ is not playing to character strengths, just trying to focus so much more on being the punish, trying to be that answer to this puzzle. Dr. Coil, Astro Ninja especially, is not one of those characters, and especially one of those players, where you want to pick the character to win. You need to pick you. You need to pick what you're best at and confident in. Otherwise, he's a character or a player who's just going to kind of stomp you.
Exactly. I mean, I can't play Min Min against him, but I know Twintel goes well. That's me. Twintel is my character, and I know it works well. You see Bunny Champ. Bunny Champ has a lot of other characters. Is Ribbon something that you see often from time to time, or is this just out of the blue?
This feels like an out of the blue. This feels like a desperation.
I could understand why you choose Ribbon. You could get good advantage, and it seems like they're sticking to one stage only, and that also plays a factor. If you mix up the stages, that could go in your benefit. If you play for you, and then again, Sparring Ring is Bunny's stage. I think this is the first time we've seen Bunny actually lose in these stages twice, in the stage twice.
Something I'll note. One of the big weaknesses that I feel Bunny Champ has, which ends up keeping them from really pushing themselves to become one of these top players. These players, Bunny Champ can place well in events, but in a lot of cases, I rarely would find Bunny Champ to be in a position where they can truly shine. It's because there's a couple of things that they stick to and they'll work with to master, but a lot of it is they will just immediately drop everything to pick something new if they think it'll give them a matchup advantage. And overall, I feel like it really hampers them because they never stick with anything. They never spend enough time with anything at this point to really understand what might be happening. They just get bad fortune and immediately drop it. They get bad luck here, and then they just kind of quickly switch over to Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl gets crushed. Now we're on Brass. Brass getting crushed. If there was another round, we'd probably see a completely different character.
No, but Brass is something that Bunny has played very often. This is a character I reckon I could associate Bunny Champ with.
This is a character that's not too great against Dr. Coil, though, unless, again, you are very comfortable with this character. Bunny Champ is comfortable with this character, but I wouldn't say confidently comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, Bunny Champ's Brass is definitely one of those picks that if it is a by the book, oh, this is Brass versus Mechanica, then yes, it will work decently better than in a lot of other cases. But that's because Brass is really good against Mechanica, so you can be just pretty decent above average with the character, and you'll probably be able to make things work. But in something like this, if Bunny Champ really wants to lean into just like countering the character, they've got to pick something like Kid Cobra, and even then, that might not even work out very well. Dr. Coil probably was their best bet, just because Coil's probably, arguably the best counter to Dr. Coil in most cases is going to be Dr. Coil.
Really? I never considered that, considering we don't really see too many Coil Dittos. We see Min, we see Twintel, we see Brass. We don't see too many Coil Dittos out of all the characters. Just due to her weirdness. These players are going to activate Rush. Aster slides, and that's just it. He takes Scrapstar 34.
Aster just with a really nice bait there, sets up the rush. Bunny Champ, recognizing that a rush was coming, jumped in the air, set up the aim, and then Astro just scoots right underneath, throws out his couple of attacks, and yeah, that's going to be a very clean 3-0.
Well, congratulations to, well, first of all, great job, everyone. And second of all, congratulations to Astro Ninja for taking this this tournament.
Astro wins. Illusion wins.
I just read Astro's comment, and I'm possibly because I'm like super tired. I read it so like bland, like Illusion Boys, woo.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Illusion Boys, woo.
Oh no, it's more like, well, like you're trying but not really.
Wow.
Yours is just, the way you did it was like, I'm dead inside.
I am dead inside. Do you have a problem with that? No, I'm not.
No, because everyone is.
I'm actually very,
right.
very alive inside. It is very nice. But that is enough. We are the finished. Thank you.